Hi, Kyle. Hopefully you can hear me. Okay, let's work brain. What do we want to set up here? Oh, we want to open this up. Okay, good, good, good. Well, hi, Warwick Road Andy and Ben and Chris and Andy. Uh, let's see if I can do this bit. Which one does this? Is it this one? Nope, did not do it. So, that's going to open the file box. Yep. So do I have to do it as never quite get why it does it that way. Yeah, well, I'll deal with it for now. All right, well, let's go to the. Hey, everybody, how are you all? Richard Brown, nice to have you here. Digger Evans, how are you? Yeah, I'm feeling a lot better. I still would not say I'm 100%, but I'm probably 85, 90. It's for those who don't know, and I think everybody here kind of does, there is this god awful intestinal bug or flu. Although technically, if it's in the intestines, it's not a flu, but they just call it an intestinal flu. It's called the norovirus, and it is awful. And it can last up to 2, 3 weeks, depending on which version you get. I don't want to go into the symptoms of it. Google it. It's NORO virus, norovirus, because everybody in my family is having one or more of the primary symptoms. I've just based on my morning, I'm still not clear, but I definitely have a lot of my energy back. But Joyce is she is roller coastering with it. She has moments where she seems like she's really starting to get better, and then all of a sudden she's just gone and wiped again. My daughter Elizabeth has missed 2 days at work here, and she yesterday afternoon and evening looked like she was fine. And then I got up this morning and she's home from work again. And so she's still asleep. So she must have had a relapse or something last night or getting up this morning. I don't know what, but um, so she must not be over. But watching Joyce roller coaster with it, I guess my daughter is just having a starker because she seems to. Yesterday, I really thought she looked back to normal as much as I was. And then I got up this morning and she hadn't gone into work again. And she's in a job where she just started a new job back in November, just after our American Thanksgiving. So she hasn't built up any sick time. And you're just worried about it. Now, she's in a union job, so she's protected, but she's not going to get paid for these days right now. But that's the hard part. So anyhow, I'm not planning on running trains. I'm not planning on being too long. I wanted to just commune with people again. I did try to live stream last Friday, and I lasted not as long as I wanted to, but longer than anybody thought I would. But I do have some mail that I've accrued and some other things going on. Hey Bernie, how are you? If I didn't say hi to Chris, hello Chris. And so the 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 big bit is, I don't know which one to do first. Let's go to this box. I mean, I know what's in these boxes, but the thing is, I opened a bunch of the boxes. I'll talk about the one when I get to it, but the one that I can open on air, I will go ahead and open on air. This is, and by the way, I have not seen Mark, and I need to email him, but I've been so sick the last week myself. I haven't seen Mark from Model Railway Fantasia online in a couple of weeks, and I know he's been feeling really bad. He got the infection back in his leg, and then he posted some videos trying to get his mojo back, and then he's gone stealth mode again, which always makes me worried, and I've just been too sick to communicate with him. I get tired chewing food. That's how bad this was. Is first you don't eat for a day or two, and then your stomach is turning on your stomach lining because you're not eating. So you force some food down, but you literally get tired chewing food. You're like, oh, I can't go any further. It's nasty. Now, this one is very channel related, but this was based on a suggestion. Actually, not even based on. It is a suggestion, this little purchase. It solved a problem I was having and briefly talking about now and then, and I'm very excited for this. But from Mark at Model Railway Fantasia. I don't want to say his last name just in case he does. He offered to do this for me. I said, no, I can do that. I got it. I appreciate the generosity, but, you know, you're getting ready to move to Poland. You don't need to spend any money on me. I could do this and probably, you know, get it for cheaper than shipping it. And I've got all kinds of empty boxes. This is a new packing concept I have not seen before, but let me get this up here. An empty box of Hostess cupcakes. Empty boxes of facial tissues. And Nellie's egg bites. Yeah, I bought empty boxes. No. All right, let's get into this. Here's what this is about. Okay. Stop. So, I think you guys can all see what that is. That is the famous Big Boy locomotive in one of its historical liveries. But it's a model. Now, those of you know, I've been talking about getting a Big Boy locomotive to do something with. And I kept thinking getting an HO scale model train, but I didn't want, for what I was going to do to it, I didn't want to spend $100, $200, $300, $400, $500. And Mark said, well, I know it's not an actual model train, but I've got this Revel model kit. Hey, Dino, how are you? Yeah, those cupcakes did look good. That's how hungry I'm getting. Those cupcakes look good. And Mark said, well, it's not going to have a motor or be a running, but I can get you this model of the Big Boy for like 40 pounds in shipping. And I was like, I hadn't even thought of getting just a model. And, you know, just an HO. This is an HO scale model. So, you know, there's no motor in it. So I got this for 20 bucks off eBay. It's a snap together model. And for what I'm going to do to it, and yes, I said to it, this made perfect sense. So, Mark, thank you for making me think outside the box from what I was planning. This is going to become, and many of you are newer to the channel and probably don't know what it means, but if my buddy Randall Ellison were here, anybody who's been a friend of a channel might know, this is going to be the Black Mamba. Now, if you don't know what the Black Mamba is, you need to watch Matt Clark Series 1. Because this is going to become the Black Mamba. By the time I'm done making this Black Mamba, I will, of course, be splicing it with some other things that I also need to buy off eBay. But this is a family show, mostly. So I can't talk about what else is going to be added to this to make it the official Black Mamba. Because I am actually building a diorama. Some of you may remember my last mail call video. I got a bunch of cool buildings from McCarville Studios. So I've got Adults Bookstore. And this is going to be the... again, the brain is not completely back yet. It's amazing. This virus has attacked just your thinking abilities. But this will be the Squeaky Spring Hotel. This will be the Squeaky Spring Hotel. And now I've got this to be the Black Mamba, and I've got to find something to be the station, but I've already got something for that. The Big Gulch Station. And then what else did I get? Where did I set everything? So in the mail the other day, and I went ahead and opened this because the package was very damaged, and unfortunately some of the content was. But I don't know, is there a full-scale picture of this? This is a very small die-cut design printed building. But it's this is going to become, and all I can do is hold this up to you. You probably can't. There is no final picture design of it. But this is going to become the Filthy Glass Saloon. This little die-cut building here is becoming the Filthy Glass Saloon. So I am building a diorama of this. I'm going to build. I'm not actively doing it now. And then to continue that, I found some of these Bachmann HO scale, very badly done, very badly painted figures. And they make more, but these are the only ones this place had in stock. But there's Matt Clark. There's Matt Clark right there. This is going to be Sheriff Dannon. Over here, with a little bit of adjustment, I think that's going to be Miss Lil. That's going to be Miss Lil. Hey, Heath, how are you? Well, hi, Heath. I'm going to, alter and repaint these figurines, but this is going to... some of the other figures I haven't figured out how I can fit them in. Like the one guy, he could be the mayor. He could be Adult. He could be Nat Mayfault, the station master. There's some potential for whom he could be. But I have spent the money. I am going to do a Big Gulch diorama. It's going to be probably... a 2-foot by 4-foot little shelf thing that will go up on a wall down here. And so I'm going to build that. So that's... And I did open that when it came because I wanted to check on the package. I didn't want to do that live on air and find it all broken. Yeah, Spread Eagle Lane. I do want to add, the key buildings. I still got to find... and Matt McCarville's got another building he's just posted. Mike McCarville. Another building I'll be buying from him, but he's already sold out his first run of it, and I need to wait till and he tells me, Anthony, even if it says it's out of stock, it's in stock. I said, yeah, but your online shop won't let me buy it when it says out of stock. Hey, Tim. And by the way, I said hello. Well, hello in Italy. Buongiorno, Chimera Wargaming. You've been putting up a great videos. I haven't commented on them lately, Liam and Father, because I have just been dead to the world for the last 7 days. I got into some live streams on Sunday, and yesterday I was feeling better. I was, and I'm the only one in the house that can move around. And so I was doing laundry, catching up on all the dishes. I was doing everything around the house yesterday because last week before I got sick was so crazy busy with the plumbers coming in and taking out the old water heater and putting in the new tankless water heater. And then I had electricians come in and put a all new panel box and electrical system in the main room down here because the old one was... oh my God, it would have made me sick if I wasn't already getting sick to realize how close my house was to a big disaster because the people who installed that panel box in 2002 forgot to put insulation in it. And so it was getting moisture leaching off the wall of the basement and getting into the panel box, and the circuits were corroding and areas were rusting out, and the corrosion was going to create massive shorts, and we were less than a year away from a major disaster. Hey, did I see Ewan is here? Hi, Ewan. Well, I thank you for that. I really want to just talk to people. With Joyce being so sick, when I was at my worst, I was watching stuff on YouTube, but I was in and out. I was sleeping. Even when I was trying to watch live streams, I had to go back and watch some things, or I'd try to catch up on all the videos people posted. And then Sunday, I felt a little better and tried to catch up with stuff. And while I was watching live streams, type comments, and I wore myself out and fell asleep during Sidetrack Sunday. And then Monday, couple of people went live and I went in and was trying to catch up, but I was feeling a lot better Monday. And then yesterday is the first day where I felt almost normal, and today I still feel almost normal, but I'm not over this. It's the intestines still are not smooth. So anyhow, I'm not done with what I've got, but it's, to me, I love it when somebody opens everything online, even if they take 4 hours. But the whole unboxing process. But I have not seen my grandson. I've seen my grandson a grand total of about 3 hours in the last 3 weeks because he got sick. And then I had workers in the house last week. Then I got sick. So he's used to seeing me 2-3 times a week, and at least 2 of those times all day because I babysit him. Well, I haven't been able to babysit him because he got sick, then his mom got sick. And then we had workers in the house, so he couldn't come over. And then I got sick. So I haven't seen Kyan in a while. And so finally, when I was feeling better, I did a video chat with him on Sunday, which he was thrilled. But it is funny because like 40 minutes in, he's like, all done. He's not with Opa, so there's not much fun, but he talks to Opa, wants to show Opa stuff, and then, okay, he's done, and off he goes. So I opened this box live with Kyan. So you'll have to forgive me for that. I did the last thing I've got to show you, I opened live with Kyan because on Monday, during a video chat with Kyan, I said, hey, Kyan, I know you can't come over tomorrow because Oma's sick now. And but I got a new box coming because Kyan understands box means there's something cool inside, and so he was all excited, and I said, you know what's in the new box? And he's just smiling. I said, new train. And he's like, new train? New train? And I said, yep. So tomorrow when I get it, I'll show you the new train. And so then yesterday I talked to my daughter and said, is he awake? Is he up? And is he ready for this? Because it just came in the mail. And she's like, yeah. So we set up a video conference call, a video chat, a messenger video chat. And Kyan pops on the camera. He's like, box, box, box. And I'm like, yeah, Kyan. So I show him the box, which I haven't opened yet. And as soon as I show him the box, he's like, open, open, open. Because Kyan only talks in one word strings of 3 with me. Opa, opa, opa. Box, box, box. Open, open, open. So I opened it in front of him. And then when he saw it, he goes, trade. And then he's like, open, open, open. So here's the new one. And I meant to send an email. Hi, Lee. I meant to send an email to George at White Walls Hardcore MOH, White Wall Wheels, because he's been talking to me about this and was offering to buy me one and get me one, and then I would pay him back when I could. And I was like, no, no, no. I had ordered this from Hornby, but when it came in, I did not have the money to pay for it, and it sold. I would have had the money 2 days later, but they were like, pay now. Oops. Oh, sorry, it's gone. Because I didn't prepay for it. So anyhow, the other one who would be here, well, hello, Peter Webster. Let's knight you. I now declare you a knight of the Robin Boyd table. So if anybody knows me, you might guess what this is, but this is another DC Hornby train, but this is the Beatles singles train that came out right around Christmas time. And I wanted this, and it sold out. And the only places I could find it online wanted 220, 230, 240 pounds for it. It came out at suggested list price at 181, and the shop I had it reserved at was selling it for 167 pounds. I bought this from a guy on the island of Malta, and Malta uses English pounds, for 155 pounds, plus shipping, which was another 30 pounds from Malta. So I actually got it cheaper than I would have earlier. Yes, this is a different Beatles train. The other one I have is a high-speed train called the Eurostar, and it's a Beatles, the movie Yellow Submarine livery. This one is called the Beatles single train, and yeah, I will take it out of the box. It's not nearly, and as you can see, the box did not make it from Malta unscathed. But I'll take it out and show it to you. There was a small... Now, I have not tested this, and I still don't have the track set up on the floor, because literally the day after the workers finished with all the electrical work and got all their crap out of here, I was sick. They finished Wednesday night. Thursday morning, I was unable to move, sick. And there were a couple of times where it was debated whether I needed to go into the hospital. My temperature never spiked high enough to warrant that. I never went over 102 temperature. But I could not get food. I could not get hydrated. Joyce was trying to, force water down my throat. Bless her heart. But this is called the Beatles single train, and it's a gimmick train. This doesn't exist in real life. It is a gimmick train aimed at Beatle fans. So Rick is out there with his Rolling Stones, go, well, at least they don't make all this crap in Rolling Stone where I feel like I'm forced to buy it. Only those damn Beatles get this stuff. Oh, I understand that, Heath. We watched that. So yes, I now have 2 Beatle trains. We've got all the health kits there, Heath, because you got to remember, Joyce is an asthmatic. And she also can have sleep apnea, but not enough where she has to be on the machine. But she has devices that check her. But this is called the singles train. So this is the locomotive, and I believe it's a class 73. I could look somewhere on the box, and I know it would say. But UK guys, right? It's a class. Wait, did somebody say Rick? Oh, Rick's Railroad is here. Okay. So that's the locomotive. It's the same on both sides. So, and that's kind of cool. But it's the early classic Beatles, the mop tops, which is fine. To be honest, again, I wish they might have put like the earliest Beatles on one side and then done the last era of the Beatles, like from the Twittenhurst photo session, which was the last photographs the Beatles took together at John's house before they broke up. The last time all four stood together within 10 miles of each other. But that would have been interesting as well. Shaky Hands McGee is going. So that's the locomotive. And again, there's nothing fancy about it. In fact, I don't even think, it doesn't even have lights. That's all painted. There are no lights on this. This thing is absolutely as basic a model train as you can get. Okay, so let's get out the first car. Now, one of the things is, when it came out, they made it look like it was a 4-car set. But if you read the small print, it is a 2-car set. So, which one? Do I have these in the wrong order? Yeah, probably. That's me. That's me in a nutshell. That's me in the corner. That's me in the spotlight. I think this is first. Yeah. Okay. So it's set up that basically it is, let's go here. No, I probably had it right the first time. Yeah, starting here. The Beatles singles. And it's the official UK sleeves of the 45s of every Beatles UK release single. Now, if you don't know about the record world in the 60s, when the Beatles started releasing singles, they weren't released in the United States, first of all. But also, when the Beatles started releasing albums, the United States didn't release the Beatles' first album, and then they only released the second Beatles album after the Beatles got huge from the appearance on Ed Sullivan, but they altered it. And all the albums up to Sgt. Pepper's were altered. You know, so many Americans say, oh man, I love Paperback Writer with Taxman and everything. And a guy from the UK goes, Taxman is on a different album, you know, because the Americans just, and also the Beatles usually did not put their singles on their albums. And the Americans would then take 8 songs off a UK album and add 4 singles and boom, and create an album. Plus the Americans created 4 albums that don't even exist in the UK. Like like you ask an American, what's the last Beatles album? Like, oh, the Hey Jude album. And it's like, no, the Hey Jude was a compilation album where they took all these songs that never got released on any American albums and stuck them on one last album, just one more album to get away. But yeah, so it's all the singles in the order of their release with their UK thing. So now the thing is, they made it look like it was 4 cars and would have all the singles across both sides, but it's not. You get half the singles on one side of the 2 cars and the other half on the other. So like these are the last of the Beatles singles. So this car has the first and the last. So what I'd like to do is hopefully maybe someday they would release these cars separately. George wound up buying, hey Randall, how are you? George wound up buying 2 train sets so he could have the 4 cars with all the singles in order both ways. And I don't want to spend that much money on a novelty train that doesn't even light up. But so it has these 2 cars with all the singles on it. So I need to find a safe place to set these down. And you can see my hands. My nerves are really gone with this, because this neurovirus doesn't just attack your intestines. It messes with your nervous system. You know, you always talk about having a nervous tummy and stuff like that. Well, norovirus just, you know, my handshakes are bad anyhow. And so anyhow, that's my mail call. It's all two rails, so it's going to run on that little track I have down on the floor, which is not down on the floor right now. I plan on putting it back out today because Cayenne, there's a good chance I will be watching Cayenne for the first time in 3 weeks tomorrow. I am healthy enough to do it. Joyce is planning on going back to work tomorrow. So I should have Cayenne again, and he's going to expect to see trains running. Did Randall just say he's sick? Yeah, I'm doing better. As said, Joyce is, she's better than she was Saturday. Or Sunday. Was it Sunday she was at her worst? Saturday. Saturday into Sunday she was at her worst. And then Sunday... No, because today's Wednesday. Yeah, so Sunday was her worst. Sunday was her worst day. Saturday she was still taking care of me. And then Sunday I felt enough that I could move around a little bit, and she started vomiting and all that horrible stuff. Did I see McCarville's here? Somebody said hi, McCarville. Yep, there he is. So yeah, I'm not planning on running trains. In fact, it's actually lunchtime now, but nobody's really eating lunch except me. But I just wanted to come on and reconnect with people. There is only one other big event to me, and again, I'm sorry, there is a part of me that is permanently an 8-year-old child. My inner child is an outer child, just bald and grayed and wrinkly. Oh, hey, Rick, Boilermaker Rick, nice to see you. I didn't see you come in. Anybody else I missed? Because I've been rambling and not watching chat, and I'm not great at watching chat right away anyhow. So yeah, any of my, unless it's German, Austrian stuff, it will be 2-rail, Heath. And I've got people who watch my channel like, you need to take out one of your 3 rails and make it 2-rail. That's not going to happen. I'm not, I'm 4 trains into the DC rabbit hole already. But again, 2 of them are because it's Beetle stuff, and they were bought just to be on the shelf. And then I said, what the hell, buy some track and run them now and then. And then the Azuma was the crazy, stupid. Although I get to blame Joyce for that one now, because I wasn't going to buy it. She talked me out of it, and then she turns around and buys it for me for Christmas. And that's when I was like, I have to get some track now. I really got to get some good track to really let the Azuma. But that's... outside of the other Beetle stuff, because I do have, it's hard to see, but I've got all the Beetle box cars here as well. I can't help it. I'm a Beetle geek. And if it's Beetles, if Amtrak did a Beatles celebration Amtrak, I would probably find a way to buy it. Hey, Jim, you just got in from work. Okay. It's great to see you, man. Thanks for popping in. But yeah, as McCarville keeps adding all these Telluride buildings, and I find more that work. Now, I don't know when I'm going to get to that, because everything is always someday. But another big event is the Fowler car system. Joyce and I have finally figured something out. And once I get healthy and I get some things that I've ordered in, it's going to be a drastically different, but we've got it figured out, which means I think I'm ready to move forward. Finally, one more time with the Fowler car. I was going to try to do the road track again, and I just kept running, which is why I stopped. I did work on it for a day. Was redesigning the layout, and then there were some issues with it that were driving me crazy. And do I cut this here, and do I trim that hair? How do I fit this in? There's not the space because they redesigned the geometry of the track, and it was driving me crazy, so I walked away from it again. Every time I go near it, there's some new issue. Well, we have solved the issues. Actually, the company Wiesmann and Schonfitz, 2 German companies, solved the issues. So yeah, I've got the Black Mamba, I've got some buildings and some people. I need to get a lot more people. If anybody has links to HO scale Western, or actually Western turn of the century, let's say, like in the United States, we'd call it Era 1, pre-World War I era figures. Just send me links, either on this video or elsewhere. If I'm looking for them on eBay, and 90% of them don't work for me. Uh, because I don't want gunslingers. I need just ordinary people. Because obviously I'm still looking at how can I make Madame Lot and all these other characters. So anyhow, the only other big news was, and I'm going to do this here. I've got to just find this here. This is big news for me. And again, people have already seen it. I've already posted it. But it's very special to me for several huge reasons. So which one am I going to pop up here? There it is. This one. And she designed it to do this on purpose. I'm so thrilled. But I've been nagging my daughter for a long time. And the problem is I was limiting my daughter. I was limiting her because she could have done a lot more. But I've always had this concept of the 3 letters MTO overlapping each other. And you guys know my old logo. If not, all you got to do is go back to the opening screenshot. And that's been my logo here in this screenshot. That's been my logo since I created a logo a couple of years ago, 2.5 years ago. And I've never been particularly happy with it. Now, what I liked about it was the 3 letters MT, and then the O for outsider was also one of the rails to the circle of rail I have. And I just, in my head, that's how it had to be. And I gave some ideas to my daughter of what more I wanted because she is a graphic designer. Now, she doesn't specifically design graphics anymore. She's a sign maker. She's a business sign maker. She's done vinyl signs and metal signs, and she owned her own business. She still owns her own business. But basically, she started in college working for this business as an intern, and she was making such amazing product. He hired her, and within a year of hiring her, he made her second in command of his company. And then 4 years later, he decided he wanted to retire, and he handed her the business. The problem was he handed her the business and moved to California. He moved to Florida. But he had 2 trucks, and he took 1 truck so he could be a freelance worker in Florida while he was retired. But also he had been cooking the books. And if you don't understand that phrase, it meant he was doing some convenient not paying of all his taxes. So maybe that's what, I hate to be negative, but my daughter did a decent job of keeping the business going and running everything. But gradually, the biggest thing is they needed a new truck. She needed some new equipment, so she applied for a small business loan. Well, she had just gotten married a few years earlier, and then her husband and she had bought a house, and they said, well, you just bought a house, we can't give you a small business loan. And she was like, I need the loan to buy a new truck to keep my full business going. And I was installing signs for her a couple of times, and she was getting friends and family and everybody else to help because she had to cut crews because they only had 1 truck. They could only do so many jobs. So finally, she had to close her main store down, and she took her primary machines and moved it in-house, and she now does it as an in-house business. But she doesn't do the big industrial signs anymore. She just does vinyl signage. She does car appliques. But yeah, she knows her laws. She knows her fonts. It's like I'll design something and say, honey, I want to do this on a t-shirt. And she'll say, you can't. And I'll go, well, why not? She says, because you have to pay for that font. She says, so many people that go on Etsy and go on Spring and Teespring and all these companies that do t-shirt design. It says if a company finds out you're using their font that Microsoft Windows license, but it's licensed to use in the privacy of your home. But a lot of these fonts, like one of the fonts I wanted to do my Matt Clark stuff with, she said, you can't sell it. And I'm like, why? She says, because it's a licensed font. You have to pay a licensing fee of like $250 to use that font, and then you have to give them a percentage of every sale. Some you can get for free, some you just pay a licensing fee and then they let you use it. Some won't let you use it. For example, Deutsche Bahn will not let you use their font. Hey, Eric is here. How are you? You're at dialysis? You have my sympathy, man. Stay strong. And the surgery is getting closer. Yep, Sean, I'm on a Wednesday. I've been feeling out of touch. And I had some stuff I wanted to share and show off just because my ego likes being stoked when people say, ooh, cool. But this is kind of the last thing I wanted to just share and talk about. And she put so many little bits on it. For example, she put the, if you look close, I didn't notice this till I blew it up. She put a third rail in. There's actually a third rail in the middle of it. And then she overlapped the M and the T. She says, because Dad, it's MTO, Miracle your Model Train Outsider, but then it's TMO, the Miracle Outsider. So sometimes the T is first, sometimes the M is first. So she interwove them. So the M is both in front and behind. And the T is both in front and behind. And then she said, Dad, it would be really cool. Like the first one she showed, she had the ICEs. She did some ICEs coming out from behind it all. And the only thing, I forget which way it was. Did I have it coming up behind? And she suggested they come up in, or I think I was the one who suggested narrowing it and having it shoot between the O. I think her design had it coming from behind the track, and I said, no, have it coming from the middle of the O with those ICEs. And even then, the ICE train itself is a licensed image, and so she couldn't just grab an ICE image. So she had to take an ICE model train image, and then she's added little cartoonish elements to it to make it legal, so to speak. And even then, I took this to Teesprings, or now they're just Spring, because now I've got a t-shirt. I've got a design on a t-shirt I'm not embarrassed to sell. I always thought, I've got my one mug here. On Spring, I did have a mug, and nobody in the world bought one. And why would you? Because it was kind of an ugly little design. And these were my designs. These were just my drawings. And, that's not great work. But I put it on a mug to see if somebody would be crazy enough to buy one. But now I've got something I'm proud to put out and maybe put on a t-shirt. And not even necessarily to sell to other people, but I want to wear this. I'm planning on getting these designs out and then buying a couple and getting them hopefully within the next 2 weeks so that I can wear them to the Toledo Train Show. I want a hoodie. I want a long sleeve t-shirt. I would like a polo shirt, but I can't find polo shirts on Spring. Did anybody else come in because I'm babbling? I'm not reading the chat again. All right, Richard, take care. Yeah, it's your guys' dinner time. What's that? Yeah, it is. And Chris, that's basically what my daughter says. Fonts are a minefield, but they can be traversable. It just depends on the font and the company that owns the font. Okay. So like DB can be a real um, there's a couple of companies that my daughter says licensing from them is a pain in the butt. They want blood out of a stone sometimes. But yeah, it's hey, Dwight Curley's here. Hi, Dwight. But it's this is one I'm proud of. It's one that I'm thrilled with, and there are different versions of it for different topics. Like this is sort of the full thing. And then there's one that just says the model train outsider across the top. And then there's one that has no print on it. And when I posted these on YouTube community, several people are like, well, I like choice one. I like choice two. It's like, it's not a vote. You know, I didn't put it up as a vote. All three are being used. But this is going to be the new watermark and logo. And like the one without any print is going to be the watermark on all my videos and such. But it's I've just I'm blown away at how cool a job it came out. All the little nuances she added to it, and I do think it's cool. I'm you know she is a very artistic child, and I think this, if you look at my design, and you got to kind of stick to this idea, because I'm sure if you know she would have come up with some really cool, crazy stuff if I let her go off. But in my head, this was the design I wanted, and I couldn't bring it to reality. So she steps inside my head and takes my ideas, and she brings it to reality. So I'm Roy Eltham is here. Hi. So yeah, I was blown away when she finally sent these to me. But just to finish the story, I started redesigning T-shirts, and I'm trying to figure out on I want to delete a bunch of stuff I posted on Spring T-shirt designs and stuff that okay, you know, it's time to move on, get rid of the old model train outsider stuff and put new stuff up. And I can't find delete, you know, you can delete the whole store, but you can't delete individual products for some reason. I haven't figured out how to do that yet. So I went in and designed a much narrower range of stuff with the new logo here. And and I submitted it, and about 4 hours later, I got a copyright denial. I got a denial. Like, this contains copyright violations. And if you do this multiple times, and I'm like, what copyright is there? It's like, oh my God, is it the little Deutsche Bahn symbol on the front of the train? Because they don't tell you what is the copyright. And then they said, logo infringement, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I write them an email saying, can you tell me what's specifically wrong? And she says, it told you in the email. Use of logo, blah, blah. So I'm not using anybody's logo but my own. And they came back, and then they said, you're using the YouTube logo. And I said, this is my channel. This is my channel on YouTube, but it's my logo. I designed it. I've got the 10,000 images still saved on the computer as I developed it. And then my daughter took it and did and I said, so could you clarify? And then they sent me an email back and said, after your multiple communications, we have re-looked and there is no YouTube logo violation. But you cannot print the line, but you can use the images and start a new line. And I'm just baffled beyond belief. But apparently, their machine somehow picked up there was a YouTube logo in here, and Spring will not print the YouTube logo. Not even the as seen on YouTube. Although I know channels, but I think Sparky or somebody like that, maybe he does it as an iron-on or something. But yeah, Yeah, I want to create one. I do actually already have one. It's linked in all my live streams. I do have a spring T-shirt store. Most of it was stuff related to the um, Matt Clark stuff because uh, it started with one T-shirt. Uh, when Matt Clark first came out, it's hard to believe because it's been over 2 years since I started Matt Clark. Um, it had a very small cult following. There were about 50, 60 people that just, Matt Clark was the funniest thing they ever saw. And everybody, and you would see people taking it onto other live streams and elsewhere, and they would be doing Smokey's famous, "It's all a bunch of horse poop." That's one of his catchphrases. So my daughter designed just, Dad, hey, I drew up a T-shirt for you just to wear as a joke. She did it for the Matt Clark finale, season 1 finale, and she designed all these T-shirts, and we did it as a live stream. And she, Kyan had just been born by then, so Kyan's in this gorgeous little onesie. She made a T-shirt for Joyce that says "It's Lil, damn it." And she made me one that has Smokey on it that says, "It's all a bunch of horse poop." And she just did that as a lark for us. And people during the live feed said, "Can I get one of those T-shirts?" And then that's when I learned about spring. And so my daughter did some designs and I did some designs. And we made a bunch of Matt Clark stuff that we put on Teespring. And then once I came up with a logo for my channel, I put that up. But I wouldn't, I never bought my own T-shirt logo because I really thought it looked like crap. How's that? Well, welcome, Rail Buddy. Thanks for dropping in. But and then when I went to the UK last June, I meet Alan at Dragon Junction. God, I hope it's all here. I'm dropping stuff everywhere. Don't lose it. But Alan has his logo, and he hands me a pin, and he hands me some stickers. I meet Danny from Southline Sutherline, and he hands me some stickers. And I meet March West Junction, and he hands me some stickers. I meet Lee, and he hands me stickers. And I'm just trying to find where I put them all, guys, because everything down here is a mess. And everybody's are handing me stickers, and I'm like, and Lee was the first one I saw doing it. I'm not saying he was the first one to do it. He's the first one where he would do mail calls, and when he got a new sticker, he started doing this like a year and a half, 2 years ago. And he just had this big board up in his loft, and he was putting all the stickers from the channels he had gotten. And then he was printing his own and passing them out. Richard Brown gave me Trains in the Attic stickers. I think those, yeah. And business cards. I still got them, Richard. Although he went to dinner. So it was... I just felt behind everybody else. And so, I do have a spring store, which a couple of people during a controversy last year that I took a voice in, use against me. They love to point out I'm monetized and how I've got a stupid channel. I don't do anything proper, and yet I'm trying to make money off of my crap. And I was like, I'm not trying to make money off of my crap. I run my trains, and if somebody likes my channel and wanted something, because I've got coffee mugs back here from Rick Foltz Bailey and Chris Hales. And I would like to start collecting more. I've got stickers from about 8 channels. And I just want to share that stuff out. But Kyle's got to get going. All right, Kyle, take care. It just, nobody, there's nothing that says you have to buy anything anybody's selling. I don't, there was a time even just 2 years ago when channels monetized, there were people in the community that go, oh, they've monetized, they're selling out, like your 1960s rock band, selling out, 70s and 80s, punk rock, selling out. And well, now you can buy Sex Pistols lunchboxes and Johnny Rotten and the group get their dimes for it. I don't have any problem with anybody monetizing their channel because nobody forces you to buy anything. But to go to Sticky Mule or something like that and have stickers to that you can pass out to people and just share, and who that's cool. Who cares? And I finally have a design. I can put on a T-shirt I'm going to wear to a show. And is it ego? Yeah, I want to have that experience of going to a train show and have somebody go, I watch you on YouTube. Where I'm not expecting it. I've already had that pleasure when Joyce and I met Tim Dowd in Newport, when he was at the train station and hopped on the train to find us. The look in his eyes, like, it's them. Joyce and I have had that ego boost, and of course I did the same, by the way. That's Tim. I've had that experience, but a lot of you guys, you walk to the trade shows and somebody walks up to you and says, hey, I've seen your channel on YouTube. I don't get that. Turn my volume up. What I really need to do is be a lot closer to the mic. I should be good here. But I'm also talking much more quietly because I'm tired. The sickness has not left me yet. Which Brian is here? Brian. Oh, the Angel Share Brian. Hi, Brian. Nice to have you. Oh, Gage. Arthur is here. Oh, that was O-Gage that said, turn it up. Okay. So I'll try to project better with my voice here. But, yeah, I just, this design is something I can now put on a shirt and think it'll look cool. And put it on the channel and like here and use it as a watermark. But I'll use the other version of it as a watermark, the non-scripted version. But I'm proud of my daughter because I'm always proud of my kids. We just it was. And if somebody wants to buy a T-shirt that has this logo on it, then I am going to be doing it after I get off the stream and have lunch, and see if Joyce is ready to try to eat something. But it's just, but we should have a full running operation, knock on wood, for Wednesday. But yeah, I just kind of wanted an excuse to get online for a bit because I haven't been talking to people. Being sick and being offline, you realize how much you do rely on commenting through videos and live streams with a lot of your social activity. I've been missing it for a few days. So to catch everybody up, I not too much new, but the new stuff today was the Big Boy Locomotive model, and this cost me $20 off of eBay. So this is going to become the Black Mamba. I'm going to have to repaint it, but I'm really going to have to modify especially that end of it to make it the Black Mamba. And oh, the things that are going to be done. And just like Matt Clark was not PG or PG-13, more like NC-17, this diorama will be, there you can see, but oh, the things I could do. But now, between 3D printing and that, I can make exactly what I need to make to fit on here to make this the Black Mamba. But That's going to be a lot of fun. Now, the hard part's going to be putting the damn thing together. And then I've got the McCarville buildings. And like I said, Mike McCarville has another building out that I shall be buying. And then probably another version of the other one I bought. And then I got the Beatles train, which you guys can see down there now. That's the two cars. Where's the locomotive? Probably under here. Yeah. So this little Class 73, and this is as low budget. And I'm going to say this right now. And Andy, it's Hornby, so you can nod in agreement. For the equivalent of $200, if this were just a standard locomotive and those two cars, bullshit. This is not worth close to $200. It's not like they created a new mold. All they did was do a graphic design print on it. And that takes work, and those people deserve pay. But in terms of printing, it doesn't add any cost to making the model. You're a Beatle fan, you're stupid enough to buy it, and I sit here and go, yes, I am. I'm stupid enough to buy it because it says Beatles on it, and I'm a Beatles fan. It is way overpriced. I mean, without even working lights, I can buy for less than $200, I can buy an ICE2 starter set that has 4 cars in it, working directional lights, station announcements in it, no interior lighting, but has a decoder, working station lights, working station announcements, horns, and directional lighting both ways for the same price or less than this. And it's an ICE2. And it would have 2 front end cabs, a board restaurant car, and a regular passenger car, and would have digital functions. Not a lot, but it would have, I think it's 5 digital functions on it, and it's cheaper than this. And the 2 cars there, it's a bit of a ripoff, which is why I hesitated buying it for so long, because the Beatle freak in me is like, we gotta have it, and the money part of me says it's not worth the money I'm paying for it. But eventually the Beatles side won. Hornby X Lima, okay, so it's an even older tooling. Although I will admit, in terms of length and size, it feels a little more HO than 00. I don't know, are the 00 Class 73, is a Class 73 a narrower locomotive? Because when I look at this compared to, say, a model of a Class 37, which I've seen in person, this feels smaller. This feels and looks almost like a true HO scale locomotive. It fits more with some of my German stock. But I have it, and as long as it runs well, and I won't be doing a review video of this because there's nothing to review. It's Beatles and it runs. I mean, it's not even like my Azuma, which was cool. You're glad they haven't done one for Pink Floyd. I could see myself buying a Pink Floyd train too, although right now, as a Pink Floyd fan, I want David Gilmour and his wife and Roger Waters to take a rocket into the sun. Set the controls for the heart of the sun. Point them at the sky and let it fly. That's another Pink Floyd song reference. Set the controls for the heart of the sun. Because their idiocy, they're fighting back and forth, and like numbskull Roger Waters coming out and supporting Putin. Like, dude, you all the time you're about people's rights, people's rights, people's rights, people's rights, and then you turn around and support a psychopathic Hitler Stalin wannabe in Putin. And I don't care how corrupt the Ukrainian government is, it doesn't matter. It's the Ukraine, it's not Russia. No country has the right to invade another country. Period. No politics, no liberal versus. No country has the right to cross the sovereign borders with tanks of another country. So I don't give a shit about how corrupt either government is. Keep your corruption on your side of the border. But yeah, I'm just so fed up with the two of them and David Gilmour's wife, who writes all his lyrics now. And it's like, honey, you're not Roger Waters when it comes to lyrics, okay? So just keep your mouth out of the fighting. Um, to me, Pink Floyd ended with the album The Wall. And yes, I know there's all kinds of and even The Wall was a little over the top at times, but there's some beautiful stuff on it when they were still working together. Because when they first broke up and you heard what a jerk Roger Waters was, you kind of take David Gilmour's side. But then as the years go by, David Gilmour starts coming across as a complete douchebag himself, and then you go, well, I could see where they were both to blame. But now they're you're lucky if you don't catch it, but because I'm a Pink Floyd fan and follow stuff, they're in the news squabbling and taking shots at each other all the time. It's like you're both nearing 80. Grow up. When you're 80 years old, it's time to stop acting like an 11-year-old schoolgirl who got jilted at the dance. You wouldn't pay the price. Yeah, you're a better man than I am, Tim. You're a better man than I am. Yeah, and again, guys, remember I try to keep politics off of this, and that's why even my rant about Putin is not about right or left politics or anything else. It's a simple, I don't have the right to walk into my neighbor's house and tell them what they should be doing. I don't, in the international affairs, no matter how much a guy stands up and thumbs his nose at you, doesn't give you the right to invade his country and massacre people. And leave the politics at that. Don't bring right or left into this, because I am the only drama is the drama I bring up. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But there are certain times I make an exception when it's just called being human. Because I like humans. I like almost all humans. I love humanity. There are individual humans I dislike. Liars and cheaters and rip-off artists and people that are just filled with anger and hate. Yeah, I don't have time for them, but I like people. And I think that usually comes across when people meet us and go, gee, Anthony and Joyce were nice people. Well, we try to be, but you can catch us on the wrong day. Oh, Digger. I did not say it does not apply. I could go on forever about the BS excuses for both Gulf wars that had nothing to do with protecting international boundaries, although that was just the final excuse when Iraq invaded Kuwait. And then, there is a time where, yes, the world has, but that was a setup from the word go. Let's face it, the United States and yes, the UK, we've had a history of sticking our noses in places they probably didn't belong, all claiming to be the world's policemen. And let's face it, World War I, World War II, and pretty much most of the wars throughout history have really been biggest dick contest. So, yeah, I do not hide behind my flag and think everything we've done is right. Obviously, we got pulled into World War II and we joined the right side. And we needed to be involved in World War II. Korea will always be sketchy. Vietnam probably shouldn't have. more than likely shouldn't have. Pretty much everywhere we've been involved with since, yeah, probably shouldn't have been. We are no angels, but that's why the other attitude is he without sin cast the first stone. But again, talking politics or it turns into politics, but you got to be able to talk history and stuff without bringing the left versus the right, what have you, because in the end, you either like people or you don't like people. You believe all people should have rights or only a select group should have rights. And you decide what part of the political world that fits to you. Well, no, that's really to argue historical points with you, and there might be people who would try to make evidentiary facts of that. We only joined the war. Now, we started getting involved with loaning you guys stuff because we were hearing by 1940, 41 about getting more information on the concentration camps, some of the massacres. And yes, Churchill made sure we got a very slanted view of the news, but it was going on. We were getting word out of Switzerland and through our spy network of what was already starting to occur during the Russian invasion and all that. And so our sympathies were but we wanted to stay out of the war as much as we could. Japan changed our minds. And then in one of the great what ifs, Digger, one of the great what ifs of history is, what if Hitler hadn't declared war on the United States 2 days later? Or was it the next day? Was it December 8th or 9th? Or was it December 11th? See, my brain's not working. When Germany declared war on the United States in support of Japan. Because technically we would have had no justification. We would have had to just blindly declare war, which might not have gone through Congress. So Germany helped everybody out except themselves by declaring war on the United States. That's the great what if. What would have happened if Germany hadn't declared war on the United States? Because we only declared war on Japan because they bombed Pearl Harbor. And that's what got us in the war. And Churchill had nothing to do with the bombing of Pearl Harbor. Hey, Wigwag Workshop, how are you? But, every time a country becomes a power, they want to become an empire. It's like a business. You start as a small business and you hate monopolies and you hate all this, but then you grow and become a business, and then you decide it's cool to take out competition, and then you become a monopoly. So you can start small and hating monopolies, and then you get up there. You become what you hate. You become what you fear. And it's a part of human nature. But in the end, like Model Train shows us, if we can stop being douches for 10 minutes and just sit and talk about trains or models or calmly and rational, if somebody turns into this channel for the first time and hears me talking, they're going to go, oh, what an asshole. But the people here that know me go, yeah, Anthony Dodge is a nice guy and he's not really saying anything bad. But you can pigeonhole people. You can pigeonhole people and say this or that about that person. And as I was talking about my last live stream when I was healthy is, I'm now for the 1,440 odd subscribers I have, and to the 40 or 50 people who come to my live feeds on Fridays, my live streams on Fridays, the consensus seems to be I'm a nice guy. I mean, I've got 3 or 4 people in here that I go on to random chats that I've never been to before, and those people are in there and say, you've got to come to Anthony Dodge's chat on Friday. It's the best chat on the web. And I'm like, no, it isn't. But I'm honored these people feel that way. And it's great. And if people think I'm the best chat, I'm not going to argue with them. Whatever I do that makes them feel that good about me, that's great. It's the same reason I think Digger's one of the best weatherers and model designers out there, along with anybody you can put out there. And Digger will say, no, I'm not, no, I'm not, no, I'm not. And I'm like, well, yeah, you are. Just because you're humble doesn't mean you're not great. And, but be that aside, so, the 50 people that give my live streams a thumbs up, think about that. Go look at my last live stream. I had 265 views on it. And it was short, and not a lot of people got to come to it. It has 45 likes, 265 views, 45 likes. That means 220 people watched it and did not like it. Okay? You got views, but not a thumbs up. And that humbles you right there. It's like you start to think, God, I've got this cool live stream. Or really, 265 people liked it or watched it, but only 45 liked it. Now, nobody gave it a thumbs down yet, which ends a little streak. Speaking of which, my ego is very depressed because my abbreviated live stream last Friday only has 45 likes. Only 45. What an arrogant douchebag to say only 45 likes. The me from last year is smacking me upside the head going, dude, remember when you used to be thrilled you got 25? But I had a string of 50 straight, or of like 7 or 8 straight live streams that got 50 plus likes, and that one, the streak ended. Isn't that petty? Isn't that petty? But that's me to have noticed. I had this nice winning streak and now it's over. I only got 45. That was reminds me of an interview that CBS News did in 1966, where they were trying to say the Beatles were done, the Beatles were over, the Beatles were a fad, and it's done now because they had been waiting to step on the Beatles, And the year before, in 65, the Beatles did Shea Stadium and had like 57,000 people. The place was packed, 57,000 people. At the time, the largest pop rock concert ever, the first stadium concert. And so the next year, they had 48,000. And this CBS announced he's going around, he's trying to find people. There was... This is over. The Beatles fad is over. The people aren't screaming as loud as they used to. And he's talking, you think the Beatles are really over. You're just here because of your friends, right? Like, no, we're not, because we're really trying to listen to the music, because they're always saying they can't hear. We're really trying to listen to the music this time. And they finally found some 9-year-old girl who's like, no, the Beatles aren't my favorite. I'm into Herman's Hermits now. And so there you go. Proof that the Beatles fad is over. And Paul McCartney did an interview the next day, and he's like, yeah, we only had 48,000 at Shea Stadium yesterday. Oh, we are so over. We only had 48,000 people at our concert yesterday. and so in a very minute way, that's me going, I only had 45 likes on my live stream yesterday. Hey, there's George. So George, look familiar, George? Now that he's here. I really wanted to take some pictures and send it to you, but I went live instead. I wanted to share because I know you've been saying you would buy it for me, but I found it for a lot cheaper on the island of Malta. And it arrived. And it's... I just, I'm closing in. It's kind of hard to say I'm closing in, but I'm at 1,447 subs as of the last 4 days. It hasn't changed in 4 days. I'm looking to that sometime this year, maybe by June, I might break 1,500, which would be unheard of, unbelievable. But it's I still see myself as such a small channel, and I know all the guys that are like, I've got 300 subs, you're not a small channel. And there are channels that I consider big channels that I now have the same subs or more. It's like, I've been watching this channel for 5 years, and they were always such a big channel, and now I technically have more subs than them. But then there are other people that start at the same time I did that now have 9,000 subs. So, it's It's all relative, I know. But it's been, I was missing talking to people. I just could not get into live streams. I couldn't comment on videos. I was just so sick. This norovirus has just been a monster, and I feel so much better today, that I wanted to get on and talk for a bit. I probably talked longer than I planned. Hey, Kiwi Dave just popped in. Dude, it is like really super late or really super early for you. It's got to be super. Well, I know you're a few hours ahead of Australia. Ray Bertelson is here. Hello, Ray. Welcome in. But that's it's not even a goal to break 1500. It's just it's now a potentiality. It was only 2 years ago I was at 200 subs, and it's weird to think that 1500 is in the view. It's still a ways to go, and again, I've been dead for 4 days. No changes for 4 days. I actually got up to 1448 and then came down, and I could go look and probably be at 1443 now after I did a couple of political comments. A couple of people like, that's it, hippie liberal asshole, out of here. And but hey, people come and people go. I was thrilled. I got a little note from Colin Wykes, who hasn't been on the live stream in a long time because of his job, and it was so great to hear from him. I'd like to hear from David Cook. I also probably will get off of here and send an email off to Mark, hoping he's well, because I haven't talked to him in a week and a half, all because I've been sick. Yesterday I talked to my good friend Artie by video chat, because he was checking in on me, because on Facebook, a lot of you, and like Dino and Tim and Randall and Eric and all you guys, that as I was giving daily posts, sitting in my chair, flu day 4 sucks, and all your well wishes to me and the family, asking about Cayenne, all you people. I mean, that is really what makes me love the YouTube people that I've become sociable with, is keeping all the drama BS out of it. The number of people that express concern for a little 2-year-old boy you've never met, a little gorgeous angel of a 2-year-old boy, the cutest little 2-year-old in the world to me, when he was sick, and still asking about him. Hey, Anthony, how is Cayenne doing? How's Joyce doing? All that little stuff. Thank all of you for checking in with us, and on Facebook, because obviously this is the first time I've posted anything since my live stream, and to all you who were wishing well on that stream, thank you. It's duly appreciated. I probably shouldn't have done that stream, but the stupid ego, I have not missed a Friday live stream in 2.5 years. Even when I've been in Germany and the UK, I shall not miss it now. And I just had to go on. The show must go on. There's a Pink Floyd reference, right? So yeah, thought you might like to go on YouTube. To feel the warmth, beloved devotion they give to a boob. Well, I got some news for you, asshole. YouTube doesn't need you here on this day. I'm sorry. I just got to let it run. And I know I've got people coming up. I've got people coming on live. I think somebody was going to go on at 1 my time, which is like 6 UK. I'm thinking I should probably look and see who's coming on. I should get off, and then I want to make sure I catch Richard Brown's Modeling Club at 8 o'clock. And I know somebody else just posted they're doing something at 8 o'clock UK time, but Richard's been doing 8 o'clock UK time, and he's my friend. At least I consider him my friend, and I got to meet him. I didn't talk to him as much as I should have. And he's always friends with me on Facebook. Christopher. What was the mail call? Okay. So, Kiwi Dave. I got a big boy snap together model for the Black Mamba for my big gulch. I got some Western figures, and I'm looking for more for figures for Big Gulch, because like already, where is he? Which one is it? Yeah, this one. This one is going to be, that's Matt Clark right there. That's going to be Matt Clark, and that's going to be Lil, but I'll have to repaint it. But that one's going to be Lil, and then I'll decide the others as I go along. This one could easily become, now that I'm thinking of it this way, turn around! Turn around! Stop! You rude little figurine. Turn around. There you go. That's going to be Smokey's dad. I didn't even think about that. That's Smokey's dad right there. So there's Smokey's father, Abel, if you didn't know, Abel. I've never given them a last name, by the way. True story. Abel and Trudy do not have last names. Abel and Trudy do not have last names. I've never given Smokey and his family a last name. It's not a hidden secret. You're hearing it here from the writer first. Smokey's family, I have never given them a last name. I have never been able to come up with one I'm happy with. Abel and Trudy. Whatever their name is. Now, if I wanted to be silly, I could just call them Abel and Trudy Croche. But, and then I got another building for the diorama, which is going to become the Filthy Glass Saloon. I'm really excited about this build as long as it goes together. And I'm going to say the instructions are not the best. I don't want to badmouth the company, but the instructions are not the best. There's going to be some guesswork in there. Oop-de-doop-de-doop. And then, oh yeah, and then I got the Beatles singles Hornby train. So you got the car, and you already joined together. You got the locomotive, the Class 73, and 2 cars here. And George, I totally, you explained it to me, and I know, and I so loved and appreciate that you offered to buy me a set and I'd pay you, but I did get this even cheaper than you could have. But it's like, I see why you talked about buying a second set to get all the singles both ways, because that mildly annoys me. Just not enough to spend another 150 pounds on it. Well, I care. I don't like to go over other people's live streams, especially if it's not my day. On Fridays, I don't care who goes on with me. Like last week, Friday, I was sick, but I still went on, and Richard at New Junction did a premiere. And I did get a couple of people saying, aren't you upset? I don't know if they're trying to stir shit up, but aren't you upset that Richard's going on at your time? I said, Richard knows me. Richard at New Junction knows me, and he knows I am live on Fridays. Richard has been to my live stream. Richard and I have exchanged emails and Facebook messages at times. I do not consider myself a friend of Richard Watson, but I consider him somebody that I could text him and get a reply within 10 minutes. That, it'd be like, who's this? He knows who I am. Was I offended? No. He scheduled it. And I didn't take it as anything other than he scheduled it. And Friday, 8:30 is maybe when he's finally got time to be home and do it. And so I have absolutely no problem. It's not a competition. Now, there are certain things like I would never go live when I know Heath is on, because Heath is somebody I'm subscribed to and consider myself a friend with. The Sidetrack Sunday people, I won't go on with that at the same time as them. I won't go on when Edward Cady is on. I won't go on when Bernie is scheduled to be on. I won't go on when anybody I know. And if I do, because I was going to go live earlier today, but Bernie was on, and it wasn't scheduled, but he was on, and I'm not going to go on until he's done. And I don't expect the same treatment. I don't demand the same treatment. It's just how I am. I do respect the people I'm subscribed to, and when they have their shows, I've got my show. This is just bonus. Hey, Joe Rader, how are you? No, it's not Friday already. In fact, I really got to start wrapping this up. It's an hour later than I planned on staying, but that's me. Well, and there are people that have that digger, and I am not naming anybody, and I'm not saying it's somebody I know. I've just seen it. There are people that get a very much a how dare somebody else go on when I'm on. Well, there's technically always somebody on when you're going on. Even in the model train community, there's a German guy on right now that I sometimes pop in, but I'm not popping in today. I'm probably too sick to listen to four guys rattling in German when my head's spinning, because even though I can understand it and know what's going on, it can become cacophonous, and I'm just like, wait, what? Especially if they're talking over each other, then it gets harder for me to understand what they're saying. And so but I wanted to come on, and there was no American that I follow. And I know there's a Wednesday morning show. I know there's Wednesday afternoon shows by various American channels, but I'm not subscribed to those channels, so they don't know me. I don't know them. So that's just, there was a time when we first started, when YouTube model train community exploded, and there are people that have been channels for 12 years, 13, 14, 15 years. They were the originals in a lot of regards when it was a very small YouTube presence. Now everybody's got a YouTube channel, and now everybody is streaming. And now, because I am such a YouTube influencer, people like the amazingly talented and handsome Bernie at Crossway now needs to put 6, 7 cameras on his live stream. And I wasn't the first to do multiple cameras. I just do more. And if Robert from Robert's Train Set were here, he would tell you I do way too many. It makes it hard for some people to see. And that's why I say then you got to watch me on a big screen TV. He's experimenting, and I was asleep when he did his first stream. I slept in today. Joyce wasn't feeling well. I just decided to sleep in a bit, not get up and start the day any earlier than I needed to. Everybody's jumping on that Prism, and I've experimented with Prism on here, and I could see why you like it, but Prism is an OBS clone. I mean, it is, somebody took OBS and said, okay, let's shave off this, let's cut off that, and do it. But it really is OBS. But yes, I see where beginners that might have had trouble with certain aspects of OBS find it much easier to use Prism. The problem is, as you're going in, you're starting to find some of the other problems that by using a clone. Yep, it's easier to jump in. And I got people go, well, why don't you switch to Prism? And I'm like, why? I've got the OBS thing down. It works for me. I've got 13 cameras going. Well, here I've got just the one. My CPU is running at 18%, broadcasting at 60 frames per second at 700 kbps, or I'm sorry, 7,000 kilobytes per second upload. 60 frames per second, 7,000 kbps, 7 megabytes up. And my CPU's at 18.3%, and I haven't dropped a frame. I think I got the OBS handled. Chris, you say it's not OBS, but me monkeying around with it, pff, if it's not OBS, it's the greatest version of plagiarism ever. Because it is an OBS clone. It just shaves some things off, but its entire setup board looks just like OBS, other than there's one section missing. Um, the the basic setup, even some of the command structure looks the same. But having said that, I really need to check in on Joyce and see if she needs anything and take care of lunch. So I babbled for about 45 minutes to an hour longer than I planned on, and probably said things that some people will hate me for, but um, I'm still, well, I'm not feverish, but I'm still not recovered. So if you're here and had not known, my family has been fighting this very nasty thing called the norovirus. Uh, very bad cases of it, which is the same thing Kyan had almost 2 weeks ago now. In fact, it was 2 weeks ago today he got it. Well, actually, 2 weeks last night that he got it. Hey, Ohio Steam and all. But anyhow, yeah, so that was just a little mail call talking about other things. And again, I'm so excited about my new logo. And I'm sure most people are staring at it going, it's not that great. And I know a lot of you have said, hey, it looks awesome. It looks awesome. But you know, it's my daughter is a very artistic young woman. And it's what she does professionally. And just love what she does. And it's light years ahead of what I've been using for my logo, and it stayed true to my original logo design, which is what I wanted her to do. She could have done much more if I would have said, you know, start off the cuff, and she would have come up with many different designs and said, we do this and we do this, but I really wanted to stick to the original design, and she did. And then she added her little bits to it. Like I said, the little bits where I was like, hey, this is cool. What's this about? She says, well, like, you know, the M and the T are, you know, both in front and behind each other. And it's because sometimes it's the Miracle Outsider, TMO. Sometimes it's Model Train Outsider, MTO. So sometimes the M's in front, sometimes the T in front. So she incorporates that by having the letters weaved into each other. Brilliant. You know, and then she stuck with the loop of track. She stuck with the loop of track because I wanted the loop of track. But in my logo, that inner rail was the actual zero, and she wanted the zero to be more, the O, the letter O. She wanted that to be more pronounced, MTO. And so she took it off the rail and brought it inside, and then she went ahead and added the third rail on my track. She said she used, you know, because I am C track, but it's not K track. She just she designed her own track image there. She created her own track image and then created a third rail for it. So I'm really just thrilled with where it's at, and I'm going to go try to get a couple of quick t-shirt designs up on Spring, and coffee mug, and maybe some stickers so I can order them, so that hopefully I'll have them in time for the Toledo Model Train Show on March 12th. I'm hoping to wear it. So on that note, sorry if anybody got annoyed when talked about some pseudo-political things, but again, gotta be able to talk about history and current events without it being political. But again, you know, part of politics is political viewpoints is how you interpret events in history. And you got to be able to disassociate political view from what happened. You know, it's like Rome and Roman history did not happen exactly the way the Romans wrote it. Okay, the Romans wrote their history to make themselves look good. Americans wrote a lot of our history to make us look good. And you got to be able to take away you've got to be able to take away the biases, and some things you'll never know exactly what happened. But anyhow, let's see, I'm talking about it again, trying to sign off. All right, so I'm babbling. I'm going to say thank you for everybody who popped out again. This was unannounced, unplanned. I will be here Friday. I'll be running. I've got to decide and set up tonight what trains I'm running. I got to get the 2-rail stuff back on the floor now that I'm healthy enough to actually have the energy to do it. And there also there's going to be some further news in the next week or two on the Fowler car front, because that is moving. But be that as it may, for the 8th time I've said that now in the last 10 minutes, I want to say Auf Wiedersehen, Tschüss, happy trains, everybody. Take care. I will see you wherever I see you. Goodbye.